Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of AIM Drifts, where we dive deep into everything gaming with a special focus on the world of shooter games. I'm your host, I am the Pack Alpha, aka Austin, and I'm super excited to kick things off with you today. Just a little about me. I got my start in gaming with the original PlayStation. Those early days of playing classic titles like Medal of Honor and GoldenEye were some of my favorite memories, and they totally shaped the gamer I am today. So, in this podcast, we're going to explore everything about shooters, from the early days of gaming to the modern battle royale craze. But today, we're going to start with something that really hits home for me: the evolution of shooter games. We'll take a journey from the PlayStation 1 era where it all began for me, and track the path that shooter games have taken to today's massive multiplayer worlds. Each episode, I will be sharing my thoughts on different gaming topics, from the hottest new releases to deep dives into specific genres like shooters. I'd love to hear your thoughts too, so make sure you connect with me on social media or leave a comment. But for today, let's jump right in and take a trip through time. The evolution of shooter games from the PlayStation 1 era to battle royales. The beginning of 3D shooters from 1994 to 2000. Back in the late 90s, the PlayStation 1 was a game changer for gaming in general and especially for shooters. This was the era that brought us our first truly immersive 3D shooter experience. Doom had already made its mark on PC gaming, but for consoles, things were just getting started. Some of these games include Medal of Honor from 1999, one of the first major World War II shooters to offer cinematic gameplay and intense, realistic missions. It also had a unique multiplayer mode that began setting the tone for future tactical shooters. Tomb Raider and Resident Evil from 1996, though not shooters in the traditional sense, these games had heavy shooting mechanics that helped shape the evolution of action, adventure, and survival horror with a strong emphasis on combat. GoldenEye 007 from 1997, Nintendo 64, but huge in PlayStation 1 era. This was one of the first console games to show what a multiplayer first person shooter could be, even though it was technically on Nintendo 64. It heavily influenced PlayStation 1 shooters and popularized the concept of multiplayer on a home console. These games laid the groundwork for what would come next, and for the first time, players were able to experience a more cinematic, immersive shooter experience on console. In the early 2000s, the rise of tactical and modern shooters. By the early 2000s, shooters were entering a new phase. The PlayStation 2 came around, and the game development industry was starting to explore more mature themes and adventure advanced mechanics. Key games were Halo Combat Evolved in 2001 for the Xbox. This was the first console shooter to offer a huge multiplayer experience, a gripping single player story, and innovative console scheme that influenced future FPS games. SOCOM US Navy SEALs from 2002 on PlayStation 2, a tactical shooter that was huge for its time. It focused on teamwork, squad based mechanics, and strategic planning, pushing the boundaries of what shooters could offer. This period introduced squad based tactics and more strategic gameplay, making shooters feel less like a mindless run and gun and more like a thinking man's game. In the mid 2000s, the explosion of Call of Duty and online multiplayer. The mid 2000s marked a huge turning point with the introduction of Call of Duty and the rise of online multiplayer. As consoles got more powerful and connected to the internet, online play became a major part of gaming experiences. Key games: Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare from 2007, one of the most influential shooters of all times. It not only revolutionized the multiplayer experience with its fast paced action and progressive systems, but it also introduced perks, kill streaks, and customization options that would define the FPS genre for years. Battlefield 2 from 2005, while Call of Duty was focused on small, tight maps and intense combat, Battlefield introduced large scale warfare with vehicles. destructible environments, and a focus on teamwork. This era solidified online multiplayer as the dominant mode for shooters, creating a competitive community and a thriving esports scene. The rise of battle royales, 2010, the 2010s. Fast forwarding to today, and one of the most exciting shifts in shooting games has been the battle royale genre. The concept of being the last player or team standing as a massive shrinking play area captivated millions. Key games: Players Unknown Battleground, PUBG, from 2017, the game that took the battle royale genre mainstream. It combined survival elements with shooter mechanics, creating an experience that was both strategic and chaotic. Fortnite from 2017, while PUBG introduced Battle Royale, Fortnite made it pop culture phenomenon. With its building mechanics, colorful aesthetics, and constant updates, Fortnite turned Battle Royale into a social experience. Apex Legends from 2019 brought tactical team based action to Battle Royale. It introduced unique characters with special abilities, creating a more dynamic and strategic gameplay experience. Battle Royale games changed the entire landscape of online shooters, shifting away from small team combat to massive scale, unpredictable, and often chaotic fights. So there you have it, the evolution of shooter games from the early days of the PlayStation 1 all the way to Battle Royale boom. It's been an incredible journey, and who knows what the future holds. Will we see more immersive virtual reality shooters, or perhaps new twists on the Battle Royale format? If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to hear from you. What was your first shooter experience? What's your favorite shooter of all times? Reach out to me on social media or drop a comment. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes. We've got plenty more gaming content coming. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sharp, gamers.